Baku! This is for you! Yo, what up, guys? UFC Baku just wrapped up, and I'm here to recap the entire card, breaking down exactly what happened in each and every fight. Starting off with the main event, working our way all the way down to the first fight of the night. And guys, if you missed this fight night, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you, son, because this was a phenomenal night of fights. A bunch of amazing finishes, a bunch of amazing scraps. Now, I will say there were a couple dull moments, I'm not going to lie. A couple snooze fest fights. You know, one I'm thinking about in particular. But the end of the night was amazing. You know, finishing off with the Rafael Fiziev spinning wheel kick KO. Whap! Spinning wheel kick right on the chin of Manuel Torres. Just a beautiful way to end the night. Let's get right into it, guys. Speaking of the spinning wheel kick, Rafael Fiziev, he goes out there and not only proves that he deserves his spot at the top of the division, but he proves that he's still one of the more dangerous guys out there, you know? Heading in there, honestly, a lot of people had their doubts. People were thinking that maybe Rafael Fiziev was towards the end of his career. He was 1-4 in his last 5. His last win was in Azerbaijan against Ignacio Bahamondes. But people were doubting him. People were doubting him. And he goes out there and gets a much needed win. A much needed second round knockout finish. A spectacular knockout, emphatic fashion. And proves that, man, he's still dangerous. He's still dangerous, and he still deserves that spot at the top of the lightweight division. Here's the KO. Round one, here's the thing. Round one, Manuel Torres goes out there and doesn't even look terrible. He doesn't even look terrible. He's landing his jab. Rafael Fiziev gets a couple takedowns. I think he landed 2 takedowns throughout the round. And Manuel Torres was able to work his way back to his feet. Land a couple jabs, wasn't looking terrible. And then round two, Rafael Fiziev comes out there and just sprints at Manuel Torres and whips the spinning wheel kick from hell. Whomp, right on his chin. Drops Manuel Torres bad. You know what? Manuel Torres is still in it, though. He's not 100% out of it. He's still in it. Pops up to his feet. And then Rafael Fiziev just starts landing vicious shots. He lands a bad hook. Boom! Drops Manuel Torres again and then starts landing brutal ground and pound shots. Puts Manuel Torres to sleep. Amazing finish. Great finish for Rafael Fiziev. I think that, after a win like this, I would like to see him fight a tougher guy in the lightweight division. Not a tougher guy, a guy with more of a name. He fought the young contender. Manuel Torres was a surging contender riding a 2-fight knockout streak. 2-fight finish streak, I should say. And Rafael Fiziev shows that, man, there's levels. He proved the levels against Manuel Torres. And I would like to see Rafael Fiziev face a guy like a Benoit Saint-Denis. Maybe a Benoit Saint-Denis. I would like to see him face Benoit Saint-Denis, maybe coming off of a loss to Paddy Pimblett. I think Benoit's going to win that fight, and I don't think they're going to match up Rafael with Paddy. So if Benoit ends up winning that fight, and they're not looking to match him up with Fiziev, I think that Rafael versus Dan Hooker maybe would be the next fight to make. I know that Rafael Fiziev, that might be an easy matchup for him, but Dan Hooker, I feel like that's a good fight to make. And for Manuel Torres, man, I definitely think he can come back. I definitely think he has a chance to come back. Getting knocked out by a guy like Fiziev, there's no shame in that. But it's going to be tough, dude. It's going to be tough. He has a sort of one pace sort of fighting style where he's just going for the finish, and that leaves you open, man. That leaves you open. He didn't even look bad. He didn't even look like he was going to get countered or going to get caught against Rafael Fiziev. But then Rafael Fiziev, man, he just went out there and blasted him with the wheel kick from hell. Good finish, great finish. Moving on to a co-main event. This fight was kind of odd. This fight was kind of odd one to watch. Charles Bullet versus Michel Pereira. The 3-round, scrap between the two highest level middleweights out there. Honestly, I kind of expected this fight to go exactly how it went. I didn't expect Michel Pereira to gas as quickly as he did. Round one, they go out there. Michel Pereira lands a good right hand right on the chin of Sharabullet Magomedov and drops him to his ass, starts landing good ground and pound shots. And here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Sharabullet Magomedov, he gets caught. And I feel like the issue with Sharabullet Magomedov is we know he's got one eye, as we can see. But I feel like he just can't see that well. I feel like he can't see the shots coming. And I feel like Michel Pereira just caught him with a clean right hand, dropped him. We saw Sharabullet getting caught a lot against Michael Venom Page, his only loss on his record. And Michel Pereira starts getting to his guard, landing ground and pound shots. And Sharabullet Magomedov does the crafty move of grabbing his hair and pulling on Michel Pereira's ponytail so he couldn't like posture up and land big shots. And Herb Dean was watching this the whole time. He saw every moment of it, and he just kept warning him. He kept saying, hey, you can't do that. And then he'd watch him do it again. He'd be like, hey, you can't do that. And then he did it like 3 times. And then Herb Dean separated him and was like, hey, buddy, just to let you know one more final time, you can't do that. That's my last and final warning. Gave him another warning, the amazing Herb Dean. But yeah, put him back in the same position. Michel Pereira just laid in his guard. I really wish Michel Pereira would have let him up. I don't know why he just laid there. Didn't land anything of significance on the ground. Sharabullet just recovered. And then eventually towards the end of the round, he actually reversed Michel Pereira and ended up on top. And Michel Pereira ended up on his back. Here's a picture of the knockdown. As you can see, we don't have any pictures of him grabbing his hair, but he was grabbing it, man. He was grabbing his hair. And then rounds 2 and rounds 3, Michel Pereira was just gassed to all hell. Literally couldn't even throw a punch. In round 2, he literally, I don't think he threw a single punch. Let's look at the round 2 strikes. He threw 17 punches, landed 6. Which, you know, Sharabullet wasn't throwing much, but he was just throwing leg kicks from a distance, body kicks from a distance, and Michel Pereira was just circling on the outside trying to re-catch his breath, man. He was like, damn, I'm gassed. I'm gassed from landing that one shot and laying in Sharabullet's guard for the remainder of the round. The gas tank of Michel Pereira needs to be studied. It is getting worse and worse each fight he's taken. And in round 3, kind of the same story. Michel Pereira had a little bit of a bounce back, but still just Sharabullet did more. Wins 2 out of 3 rounds pretty convincingly. Michel Pereira, we need to work on that cardio, bro. We need to work on that cardio. And for Sharabullet Magomedov, honestly, against a tougher middleweight, I think he gets caught. I think he gets caught against a guy like, let me think. Any guy with decent striking, I feel. Maybe a Jeff Neal coming off 2 KO losses. I mean, not Jeff Neal. Jared Cannonier. I think Jared Cannonier would be a great matchup. Coming off, I don't know if he's coming off 2 losses, but Jared Cannonier, I think he's coming off 1 loss. I think that's the perfect fight to make. And for Michel Pereira, I think they're gonna match him up with another young contender because this dude, I think he's 1-4 in his last 5. His only win is to Zach Reese. Like, dude, we got to lock in. All right, moving on to our next fight, the feature fight. Speaking about locking in, we got Nazim Sadykhov versus Matuis Camilo. Nazim Sadykhov. Bro, I was so terrible with my picks on this card. I picked Nazim Sadykhov. Last time I'm ever doing that. That's the last time I'm ever picking Nazim Sadykhov to win a fucking fight. I mean, to be fair, Matias Camilo, he looked good, bro. He looked good. Was landing leg kicks, landing good shots. Looked good for as long as this fight lasted. He goes out there and blasts Nazim Sadykhov with a piston of a right hand as Nazim stepping in. Drops him bad. And Nazim from there just curls up in a ball and starts, you know, letting Matias Camilo land the ground and pound, let him finish the fight. It says he landed 4 strikes to Nazim Sadykhov's 0. And Nazim Sadikov popped up right after the ref stopped it, and he was protesting. He was like, "Why the hell would you stop that, bro? I was good." And I would feel a little more for you if you didn't curl up in a ball, if you didn't curl up in the fetal position and let Matias Camilo finish you. If you were working to your feet and then they stopped it, maybe I'd feel a little bit more for you, but nah. Matias Camilo, a great finish. Definitely someone I could see maybe having a rise through the lightweight division. Good power, good leg kicks, and has some knockouts on his record. Nazim Sadikov, I don't even know what's next for him. Definitely going to need to take some time off. Definitely going to need to, recover after a quick minute and 31-second knockout like that. Tough loss. Tough loss. Speaking of tough losses, Asu Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. Moving on to the next fight. I predicted this fight perfectly. All right, let's forget about the rest of the card. Let's just talk about this fight. All right, this fight, I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew Asu Almabayev was going to be way too much for Charles Johnson in the grappling department, and that's exactly what happened. Charles Johnson didn't even look terrible. He didn't even look terrible. Every time he was taken down, he was working his way back to his feet. It's just Asu Almabayev is that good. He was making the adjustments, making the reads, getting Charles Johnson back to the ground, looking decent on the feet. He held his own on the feet, outstruck Charles Johnson 73-32. And, it was looking like a Asu Almabayev unanimous decision kind of night until in round 3, he gets the takedown, gets the back of Charles Johnson, and puts him in a Suloyev stretch, man. Gosh. Gosh, bro. You didn't have to do our boy like that, man. We knew you were whipping his ass. We knew you were beating him to the 30-27 decision. And then he goes out there and grabs his leg and stretches it above his head. Look at Charles Johnson's face. Look at his little freaking stretch, bro. Asu Almabayev stretches Charles Johnson to no end. Gets the tap. I think it's like the 6th Suloyev stretch in the UFC. Great finish, dude. Great fucking finish. I think that was a statement he was trying to make, saying like, guys, I'm a top guy in the flyweight division. You guys need to put some respect on my name. And he used Charles Johnson as a sacrificial lamb. Great win for Asu Almabayev. I would love to see him getting a step up in the flyweight division. Maybe facing a dude top 10. I think that Asu Almabayev is so underrated. I feel like if he got a fight against a dude like maybe the winner of Loner Kavanaugh versus Brandon Royval after the UFC 330 card, or I think it's 329, I think that would be a good matchup. And for Charles Johnson, fuck, dude. You're still our boy. You're still our boy. I still love you, and I know you'll still come back from this, Moving on to the next fight. Ikram Aliskerov versus Bruno Ferreira. Predicted this fight exactly right as well. I said Ikram Aliskerov was going to be a little better everywhere, a lot better in the grappling. We didn't expect it to be that much better, Bruno Ferreira goes out there, lands 23 strikes throughout 3 rounds. And Ikram Aliskerov just puts it on him. Landing with his hands, throwing the flying knee. He landed a flying knee a couple times throughout the fight, using the flying knee to set up the takedowns, getting the takedowns, controlling Bruno Ferreira on the ground. Great win for Ikram Aliskerov. Dominant win. I expected it, I think that Ikram Aliskerov, just like Asu Almabayev, is underrated as fuck, dude. His only 2 losses is to Robert Whittaker and Hamzat Chimaev. I know that both those are brutal KOs. I would like to see Ikram Aliskerov taking a step up as well, though. I'd like to see him facing a guy like maybe Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's coming off 2 KO wins. I feel like Bo Nickel would love to have a Russian, 17-2 fighter, for his next matchup, taking a little bit of a step up in competition for Bo Nickel as well. I feel like that'd be a good matchup. I feel like that'd be a fun fight. I feel like it would be mostly striking because they both are 2 good grapplers. And I feel like that's the matchup to make. And for Bruno Ferreira, 2 losses in a row now. Not looking good for you, my boy. Not looking good. You better get back on that horse or you're going to get cut soon, dude. Moving on to our next fight. Abbas Magomedov versus Michel Alashaychek. Dude, I thought that I said if Abbas Magomedov doesn't get that round 1 KO, he's gonna lose, man. He better get that round 1 KO. He's praying for it. And he got that round 1 KO. It wasn't even a KO. It was a KO into the sub. He clips Michel Alashaychek bad with a nasty elbow. Nasty elbow. Boom! Clips him bad as Michel Alashaychek is coming in and drops him. As Michel Alashaychek is trying to get back to his feet, Abbas Magomedov jumps on the guillotine and chokes him out bad. Chokes him with the guillotine choke. Michel Alashaychek taps, but still, Abbas Magomedov puts him to sleep. He's like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Puts him to sleep. Gets the round 1 finish. Great win, you know. And Abbas Magomedov is in a similar position to Ikram Aliskerov. They're both good fighters, and Abbas Magomedov has only lost to guys like Joe Pyfer, Sean Strickland. I'm trying to think of his other third loss in the UFC, but it's a good top contender in the middleweight division. So maybe get Abbas Magomedov, a guy in the top 15, maybe right outside the top 15. Even, you know, I feel like if you match him up with a dude, like even like maybe give him a Roman Dolidze, because Roman Dolidze is a tough dude to finish. And if he can't finish Roman Dolidze in the first round, let's see how Abbas Magomedov is looking in rounds 2 and rounds 3. I feel like Roman Dolidze is a perfect test for him. I feel like he gives him a lot of problems, you know. Roman Dolidze's got decent grappling of his own, decent striking, show that he's a tough guy to finish. So yeah, I think Roman Dolidze versus Abbas Magomedov is the next fight to make. Michel Alashaychek. Fuck, dude. Moving on. The feature fight of our prelims. Now, this motherfucker, Farman Hassanov versus Eric Nolan. Farman Hassanov is on steroids, dude. 100%. Look at this dude. This dude is the most jacked motherfucker I've ever seen inside the UFC. He shot 27 takedowns. Looked like prime Merab Dvalishvili out there. And he's like 5-0. Looks like this too. Look at his fucking arms. Alright? I'm just saying. Maybe we need to do some testing. Maybe there needs to be some tests done. Eric Nolan got ragdolled, and it's not even like Eric Nolan did terrible. You know, he was working back to his feet. There was moments where Eric Nolan started to put something together on the feet, and every time he started to you know, maybe have a little bit of success, Farman Hassanov just would take him down, blast the double leg, blast the single leg, and pick Eric Nolan up and slam him on his ass, dude. Literally looked like a prime Merab Dvalishvili. Got 17 takedowns in his UFC debut. Dominant performance, but we'll see how he looks in his second fight, bro. Like, holy shit. Looking like this at welterweight, bro? Dude looks like a light heavyweight, at least. At least, bro. Moving on to our next fight. Wow. Abdul Rakhmonyayev versus Julius Walker. 8-second KO. Beautiful knockout by our boy Abdul Rakhmonyayev. Slips the lazy jab of Julius Walker and blasts him with the right hand. Boom! Blasts him with the right hand. Puts him down bad. First punch of the fight. Catches the counter shot of Julius Walker's lazy jab. Puts him out cold. And we knew Julius Walker wasn't that good. We knew Julius Walker wasn't on the same level as a dude like Abdul Rakhmonyayev. Abdul Rakhmonyayev now moves to 10-0, 3 first-round finishes inside the UFC. I think Julius Walker is now cut from the UFC. Yeah, I think Abdul Rakhmonyayev is fucking dangerous, man. He's dangerous. I think that we need to get him into this light heavyweight division as quick as possible. Dudes like him, dudes like Iwo Baranowski. I feel like matching him up with a guy like Modestas Bukauskas is the right move to make, just because Modestas Bukauskas is coming off of a very, very good win. He's proved that he is a a tough light heavyweight contender. And I feel like if Abdul Rakhmanyayev can go out there and finish a dude like Modestas Bukauskas, a proven guy in the light heavyweight division, I feel like that is a enough to start rising him through the rankings and start pushing him towards the title. I know he's only 10-0. I know that might be a little bit quick to say, but I feel like this light heavyweight division is in such shambles at the moment. You know, really got nothing going on since Carlos Ulberg won the title and Yuri Prochazka went up to heavyweight. So I feel like we need to start pushing some of these young dudes, especially like these dudes getting quick finishes like Iwo Baranowski, like Abdul Rakhmanyayev. Push him up, man. Give him a Modestas Bukauskas matchup, and if he does well against Modestas Bukauskas, that's a perfect test because Modestas is good, bro. Modestas is good. If he does good against him, then we can start rushing him through the rankings. You know, then we can give him maybe a 11 or maybe a 10, maybe a guy right outside the top 10. But yeah, give me Abdul Rakhmanyayev versus Modestas Bukauskas. That's the fight to make. Julius Walker moves to 7-3. I think he's cut from the UFC 0-1 through one lazy jab. All right, moving on. Man, Nursultan Ruzaboyev versus Andre Pulayev. Holy shit, dude. Holy shit, Nursultan Ruzaboyev. That was a statement finish. That was a brutal round one rear naked choke submission. Puts Andre Pulayev to sleep. Goes out there, looks good on the feet, gets the round one takedown. Andre Pulayev goes to land a kick, and Nursultan catches it, takes him to the ground, grabs his ankles, drags him away from the cage. Andre Pulayev is able to get back to his feet, though, work his way back up, and from there, Nursultan gets his back, takes him down again, finds the hooks, finds the rear naked choke, and he literally doesn't even have it underneath the chin. Has it on the chin and still just puts Andre Pulayev to sleep. Puts him out bad. Holy shit. Eyes rolling in the back of his head. It was quick, too. It was quick. It was tight, and it wasn't even underneath the chin, man. On the chin. Imagine picking this dude. Imagine picking Andre Pulayev, man. Nursultan Ruzaboyev showed that fuck, dude. Don't mess around with the middleweight grappling of Ruzaboyev. Moves to now 37-9. Only loss in the UFC is the Joaquin Buckley. Great win, man. Great win. Andre Pulayev now on a 2-fight losing streak. I think he is 1-3 inside the UFC if I'm not wrong. But he's losing to tough guys. I feel like Nursultan Ruzaboyev, we're gonna look back and see that he was a dark horse, or he could be a dark horse of this middleweight division, I should say, in my opinion. My bad. I think the Joaquin Buckley is definitely gonna be a little bit of a stain, but Joaquin Buckley's doing his thing, man. Joaquin Buckley's doing his thing. Moving on to our next fight, we got Con Offley versus Javier Reyes, man. Javier Reyes disappointed me. Javier Reyes, Con Offley, the gritty Con Offley A1 steak sauce performance goes out there and hurts Javier Reyes on the feet, clips him multiple times, and drops him bad with an overhand right, goes to the ground with him, starts landing good ground and pound shots, and ultimately finds the round one arm triangle finish. Now, we all knew the striking defense of Javier Reyes wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was very suspect. He got dropped by Douglas Silva de Andrade very bad. Almost finished in that fight in his UFC debut. And Con Offley just exposed the shit out of it, dude. Catches him multiple times. Clips his chin multiple times. Works his way on the back foot until he catches Javier Reyes bad with a shot that hurts him. Follows him up to the ground. Javier Reyes did do a good job of avoiding big shots when he was on the ground. He did a good job of, holding on to Con Offley. But we know the grappling of Con Offley. And he put him in that arm triangle and finished the fight. Quick and easy, man. Javier Reyes moves now to 1-1 inside the UFC. We'll see what the future is for this dude. You cannot go into a fight like that with striking defense, bro. Like, with your hands down, chin up in the air, looking to land big shots because you're gonna get caught, bro. And Con Offley, he ain't even the kind of dude to make you pay like that, and he did. You know, Javier Reyes, bro. We got to go back to the drawing board. We got to make some adjustments. And for Con Offley, great win. Great win. I think that now he's on a 3-fight winning streak in the featherweight division. Great win, dude. Goes out there, doesn't even get touched, and puts Javier Reyes out in the first round. Great win. Moving on to our next fight. Daniel Danchenko versus Theodore Berggren. Now, we all knew what was going to happen heading in there, but Theodore Berggren, I feel like, exceeded expectations. He didn't do as bad as some people expected, as I expected. Daniel Danchenko is a scary motherfucker. Round one goes out there and is looking to take the head off of Theodore Berggren, throwing mean kicks, throwing mean leg kicks, mean body kicks. Every boxing shot he was throwing was looking to take off the head of Theodore Berggren. He was throwing mean combos with all 100% power, and Theodore Berggren was, wasn't doing bad. He was doing a decent job at avoiding the big shots, keeping his own on the feet. Survived round one, but then round two, round two gets hit with the head kick from Doom, bro. Boom! Blasts his ass with the head kick, drops him bad. Daniel Danchenko then follows him up, finishes him with the ground and pound. You know, Daniel Danchenko is that man. I feel like we all kind of knew Daniel Danchenko is good. You know, we know he's good. And giving him the Theodore Berggren matchup doesn't really prove anything. I feel like we should give him a guy that is of the better skill level. Maybe a guy like Neil Magny. I was maybe thinking Jeff Neal, but don't give him the Jeff Neal matchup coming off 2 KO losses. I feel like giving him Neil Magny is the right fight to make. You gotta start testing these dudes. You can't just keep matching up Daniel Danchenko with dudes like Theodore Berggren. I definitely think Theodore Berggren's gonna get another shot inside the UFC. But dude, yeah, didn't really show much. Didn't really show much in his UFC debut. And for Daniel Danchenko, does exactly what he should do against a dude like Theodore Berggren. Moving on to our next fight, we got Bekzat Almakhayev versus Yan Masamoto. I honestly thought this fight was a robbery when they read out the judges' scorecards. Bekzat Almakhan drops Yan Masamoto bad in round one. Round two was really, really close. And I think round three, Yan Masamoto edged it out, got the round three. But they give the unanimous decision to Yan Masamoto. I think even one of the judges had Yan Masamoto win in the first round, which is insane. Because the only significant moment of the fight was when Bekzat Almakhan dropped him in round one. Landed good follow-up shots. The thing I will say about Yan Masamoto is he does have an iron chin, man. This dude has a decent chin. This dude has a granite chin for the bantamweight division. Gets dropped by a big shot. Is able to eat more shots after that. Win round three. But yeah, Bekzat Almakhan now moves to 1-3 in the UFC, which I think that is a very, very crazy record for a guy like Bekzat Almakhan. 1-3. I feel like that doesn't represent the level of fighter he is. He's fighting dudes like Umar Nurmagomedov, like Alexandre Topuria, and now losing a fight to Yan Masamoto, which honestly I feel like you could have gave to him. I feel like the only big moment, like I said, was when he dropped him. They end up giving the unanimous decision to Yan Masamoto. Yan had a bad cut over his left eye that happened in the first round, and it was bad. But they give it to Yan Masamoto. Yan now, gets back winning in the bantamweight division. Bekzat Almakhan 2-fight losing streak. Moving on. To our next fight. We got Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. Man, I'm falling asleep just thinking about this. This was the snooze fest of the card. Watching this shit at 8 a.m. was brutal. It was brutal. Jefferson Nascimento goes out there and the entirety of round one just circles around. He was on his bike the entire time. The same thing for round two. The same thing for round three. In round three, though, Tahir Abdullayev gets a takedown, starts landing these ground and pound shots, and ends up getting the TKO finish with about 30 seconds left in the round. You know, suspect finish, kind of a lazy finish in my opinion. Could they have kept the fight going? Yes, but I was glad they got Jefferson Nascimento out of there. I think the ref had enough, man. And Jefferson Nascimento, what are you doing? That's his first loss as a professional. Moves to 13-1 now. Terrible performance, bro. Terrible performance. But overall, as a whole, the card was amazing. The card was amazing. I'll say that this card was maybe a 8.7 out of 10. You know, there were some dull moments. There were some moments that could have been better. I feel like the co-main event definitely could have been better. But yeah, decent fight night, decent Azerbaijani fight night. They always seem to come and bring the fights, and Rafael Fiziev delivered for his people, for his home people. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap video. Let me know what you guys think down below. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.